Imagine fountains dancing to music, sunlight glinting off gilded statues, and gardens so perfectly manicured they seem like a painting. That's the magic of Versailles, the lavish palace that whispers of French kings and their extravagant world. Another day, another place, and today, we're time traveling to the age of opulence. Get ready for practical tips alongside the palace intrigue, so your own Versailles adventure is unforgettable. Setting the stage. Versailles wasn't always a dazzling symbol of royal power. It actually started as a humble hunting lodge favored by King Louis XIII. But then came his son, Louis XIV, the Sun King, and wow, did things change. He envisioned a palace that screamed, "I am the center of the universe." Everything, the sprawling palace, the gardens stretching for miles, was meant to impress. Imagine walking those halls, surrounded by gold and velvet, and knowing the king was watching your every move. Versailles was like a stage for his absolute power. Over the years, time took its toll on Versailles. But recently, there's been a huge push to restore its former glory. So, when you visit today, you're seeing it closer to how those wide-eyed courtiers would have once experienced it. The gardens, a masterpiece of control. The gardens aren't an afterthought, they're part of the king's message of control. He hired this genius, André Lenotre, who turned the wild landscape into geometric perfection. Sculpted hedges, manicured lawns, it's like nature forced to obey royal commands. Those fountains? They weren't just for show. Imagine, on special days, they'd burst into synchronized water ballets timed to music. It was Louis XIV literally making nature dance for him, the ultimate flex. Speaking of those special days, check the official Versailles website for the Grand Eau Fountain Show schedule if you want to catch that spectacle. The Orangery. This beautiful building wasn't for flowers, but for exotic orange trees. At the time, growing citrus in France was cutting edge, a symbol of both luxury and knowledge. It showed Louis wasn't just rich, but forward-thinking. Fountains and symbolism. The parterres. Standing above the gardens, you see these sculpted lawns, elaborate flower beds, statues of Greek gods, all laid out in perfect order. It's like Louis XIV saying, "I control nature, I control my kingdom, I control you." The Latona Fountain. This one tells a story of a goddess, Latona, tormented by peasants, who get turned into frogs by Jupiter. But think deeper. It's a warning from Louis. Defy me, and you'll face the consequences. We could spend hours on each fountain. This one I love. The mirror fountain catching the sunlight. But they all lead your eye towards the jewel of the gardens. The Grand Canal, power and leisure. This canal is massive, stretching as far as the eye can see. It wasn't for transport, but for dazzling boating parties. Picture the king and his guests gliding across the water, entertained by music and fireworks. Do you see that little harbor? It's called Little Venice. Louis XIV even had Venetian gondolas and gondoliers brought in. It shows just how far his influence reached. He was a collector of wonders. As for us, we couldn't resist taking a boat on the canal. The breeze, the view of those sculpted trees, the reflection of the palace. It was like being transported straight into a history book. Traveler tips. Versailles is about more than just beauty. It's a glimpse into a world where appearances were everything, and even nature had to play a part in the king's performance. But let's get practical for a minute. First off, if you're visiting when it's busy, book tickets in advance. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Second, comfy shoes are a must, and bring water. You'll do a lot of walking. Finally, Versailles is huge. So, decide in advance what you most want to see, or it can get overwhelming. For tips to plan your own visit to Versailles and to other interesting places, head over to Global Citizen Travel's blog at therookandqueen.com. Until next time, keep traveling smart.
Avec tes beaux cheveux flottants au vent, avant cette fille-là, avant cette fille-là.